It's me again. And it's again in the previous one I was talking about the downsides of the upside, sorry, of the repeated rejection thing. And here I want to say about the flip side of that. About the flip side of a person becoming recognized too early and of being patted on the back a bit too much too early in their journey. This might be taken as like envy, which I have, of course. Of course. I used to be like, I think, a much more envious person than I am right now. Now I use my envy and I observe, I study, I if I'm envious towards someone, I look at it carefully. It's my signal to look at it carefully because if I'm envious of someone, some women, some men, someone, creative or not, if I really want to be them or want to have their life or an aspect of their life, is a sign for me to be like, okay, just look at this person now. You want something they have or something, the way they behave, or like observe them carefully because something triggered you there. But it, I want to talk about the flip side of people getting recognized early because you know what I see as an observer from the outside of this literary competition. Like I'm always using this as an example, but you can take as an example any kind of like field, any kind of achievement. Because I feel like it's not only a story applicable to the competitions. It's not only a story applicable to those people. It's a story applicable for anyone. So the story is that people imagine if you get an author who gets, I don't know, first place, second place, third place, right? And who gets published and who gets, readers and who gets an editor, who gets everything, and who gets PR and starts his literary career, let's say, who gets some kind of recognition of that competition because that's the main upside of the competition. People get recognized, people get known. And this is great, of course, right? Imagine, like, you have been writing for years, you have been, like, trying to get your foot in the door for years, and you have been working on your craft, and you have been relentless, and you have been very intent, and you know it's your calling, you know it's your thing, you wouldn't accept anything else, you wouldn't accept anything less. And then you get noticed, and you get recognized, and you get the prize. And you know what I see? Not with everyone, but I will try to explain the difference. There are a number of people who got a lot of sales, a lot of interest, a lot of things on their like this first book, who actually won something. And then a year or two after, because I've been in this game for a number of years now, and I've observed this thing for a couple years before I started participating, maybe like 1 to 3 years before. So I've seen evolution of this thing. So the first book is quite successful. I mean, like not on the world stage, but let's just say the first thing is successful. Everyone congratulates them. They get like a publishing house that publishes everything. They get the editor, they get the support, they get like into the literary arena. And the thing is, their second book comes, and then their third book comes, and like by book number 3 or 4, there's no traction. Like the interest is a bit less and less, and like there is less and less like literary critics writing about them. There is less and less interest from the public. They have less and less readers. Like people are not that excited. They are less excited, and like their thing goes like this. So like they started here in terms of like exposure and everything, and then it goes like slowly. Like they're still published, they're still known, their name is still out there. Most of the people who are professionals in the industry know who they are, for example, right? And they get some interest towards their new stuff. But like by book 3 or 4, like I once even read one of the top literary critics of the country say something like, I've read her third book and I can tell you that I won't read her fourth book. She just said that about the winner of, like, a few years prior, this girl won it, then was this her second, her third, and this top critic said, like, I've read her first three, I won't be reading the fourth one. And then that moment you're like, oh, okay, what happened there? Because that person got it all. Like, they've got the money, they've got the first prize, they've got the publication, they've got in, right? Right? They've got in, but why aren't they exploding? Like, why are they publishing again and again? Why are they writing more, but they are not going like this? Why aren't they going like this? It's weird, no? Like, why is there every, like, next thing less successful than the other, and why are people less and less interested instead of more and more? There, it's not everyone's story, by the way. There are people who publish again and who get interest again, and there are people who publish again and who get, like, more interest. There are people who get, like, more or less equal kind of, like, interest to each of their books. Like, their books get, actually, people wait for them, people expect it, people, like, have a fan base, and that fan base only grows, not diminishes. And they, like, their every next thing is expected. Like, I don't know, you expect J.K. Rowling's next thing, right? I'm sorry, I'm like taking the most evident example in the world, but, like, you expect, I don't know, Rebecca Yarros's next thing. You expect, like, whichever author, like, I don't know, like, even those who are problematic or controversial or, like, whatever, because who the fuck isn't in this world of ours? But, like, you expect their next thing. You just are interested in whatever they will do, right? Whatever they will invent. Like, you're like a kid in at Christmas, like, waiting for 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 whatever they have prepared for you. And um sorry, I'm like writing. Oh, sorry, writing. I'm like sitting, almost not moving. I'm not sure, like, why, but yeah. So, like, you're excitedly waiting, and, like, you see what I mean. There are people whose thing goes, like, from up to down, and there are people whose thing goes from down to up. Like, they only, like, grow, and some people are like, and some people also, like, stay at the same level. But I would I would count it as grow rather than stay at the same level. So, and kind of, they, let's say, they began in the same spot. They begin in the same spot. For example, right? They began in the same spot. They won the thing. They got the thing. They got the money. They got the recognition. They got the applause. They got the subscribers. Whatever. But why about one of them, the person who has some authority in the field, is saying, like, I won't be reading her fourth book, and about the other, everyone is still interested? Like, why why does this happen? And you know why? Well, why I think it happens. I think it happens because people get recognized and brought to the top too early, and because they, like, not that they don't have the ethics, the work ethics, not that they cannot try the next thing, because clearly they can, but they are not working on their shit in the way that a true creator should. Like, they are not desperately working to make their shit better every single fucking time, and they're not beginning from scratch every single fucking time. They are not banging themselves against the wall or against the floor or against something to make their shit the level which it should be. They are not desperately trying to make it better than the last time, because that's what, like, I feel like my thing was for. I'm sorry, I'm not, like, comparing myself, but that's what I feel differentiates people who actually grow and have success and people who don't. Like, they people who grow and have success, like, couple examples on my mind right now. Like, one guy writer and one girl writer, very different. They write in different genres, they are of different nationalities, they have different aesthetics, everything. But basically both of them are quite relevant and people are quite interested because they work on their shit desperately, and they work on it like with everything they have. Like you can see that those two people, they work on each of their books with everything they fucking have. They don't half-ass it. They don't half-ass anything. They don't take anything for granted. They don't take for granted their readers. They don't do like more marketing than they do writing. They don't do writing with AI. They like they take it seriously. They take it like I'm not saying that you cannot have a job or like you I don't know, like you do whatever you do, but they don't take it half-assed. They are not, they're desperately working on their thing. Every single new book is a new beginning. Every single new day is a new beginning. And no matter what competition they won in the past, no matter what they got recognized or not, no matter what the fuck happened, they are desperately working to keep at that level and be to grow, to try to be better and to grow, to grow, to grow, to grow. So, and it's visible because it's always I can tell you in my own example and others examples, it's always visible no matter what the level of talent is, no matter what language you write in, no matter what you do, like whether you do YouTube videos or like drawing, painting, whatever, dancing. It's always visible when the person works on their craft and works on themselves and desperately works to get better, like for years. It's always visible. Like it's always fucking visible if the person stayed at the same level, kind of did the same thing all over again, the same thing all over again, whether they tried to make their next thing the fucking best they've ever made. Like whether they've tried to give it everything, whether they've succumbed, like whether they've overcame themselves. And it's the most magical thing in the world when the writer who is already so powerful in their new book, they overcame themselves. And you see it because I've seen it. Like I've seen a writer of an incredible talent, and you read their latest book, and you understand that this person is like 60 years old. They have been writing for like I don't know 50 years or so or something, and they are still working so desperately to get better. They are so desperate to get to the next level. They're so desperate to make their next book their best they're ever written, that it's amazing. It's amazing. And that's why their career booms, not because they half-assed anything, but because they literally like were on the page with the sweat and the tears and everything. So I try to remind myself as often as I possibly can that like some people flop and some people fly after winning the same thing. Some people flop and some people fly, and some people just hit the ground, and some people just get higher and higher and higher, no matter what the critics say, no matter like higher and higher. I mean, they get more and more audience, they get more and more attention, they get more and more fans, they get more and more readership. They just get bigger and better and bigger and better and bigger and better. Because I think at the end of the day, when your next shit is so much better than your previous one, when you're working on each your every next book to be better, people notice, people pay attention, and it cannot be denied. No one in the fucking world can deny you. If they can deny that you are getting better, if you are getting better. I think at a certain point you come to a place where people are like, yeah, 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 they like they deserved it because they've earned it. So I think the consequences, coming back to like the very beginning of early success, of like someone recognizing the person early, and someone patting them on the back, and someone giving them monetary reward, and someone like making them believe that what they are doing is enough, and making them believe they are at a level to be competitive, and making them believe that people will read whatever they wrote, even though sometimes the author is still too much of a beginner to kind of go on the, the public market route. Like, I think. Again, I'm not an expert, so. But what I think is like it's a mistake to like basically it's there is always a danger. Then the person gets recognized and then kind of like doesn't work as desperately as they should to improve their thing. They get recognized and they're kind of with this golden thing in their mouth, like golden spoon, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm talented. Okay, I'm talented. They told me so. So now, what now? Or okay, I'm talented, but I got that thing now. Okay, like kind of calming down, kind of peaking, and then being like, oh, but do I have to like make much more of an effort? Do I really have to earn my spot? Do I really have to be desperate about this? Do I really have to be that intentional? I mean, I've already got the thing. Huh? They already recognized me for whatever I've done, so do I have to? Do I have to work that hard? I think that's ultimately the problem of not working that hard. Like, I feel like to whichever people win something or anything, like, there should be this piece of paper given to them saying, now you got to work 10 times harder, pal. Now you've got to work even harder. Now the work begins. Like, now you begin to work harder to maintain what you have and to earn more. Like, you thought the work has finished because you've gotten the prize and you've gotten the recognition, the diploma, the success, your book published, whatever. But like the work begins now. The desperate, the hard, the unforgiving, like the relationships with the people in the industry begin now. Like the relationship with the readers begin now. Like now begins the real fucking work. Because you've given like some kind of manuscript to them, right? That they have recognized, okay? You have come to some level, but now you've got to come to a level this multiplied by 10. And again, I was listening to that one interview where the guy was saying like that in his sport, the success was like measured in seconds, and if he was even a second better than him in the past year, if he was even like a hundredth of a second better, like he would win the gold and his like competitor would not. Like the guy was literally like, I needed a certain result, I needed to be better than myself in the past by a certain time. And I feel like in creativity or in any path in life, whenever you get recognized, you get something finally, it's a very it's a very common thing to just kind of be like, oh, okay, now I can kind of like relax and enjoy, and like it's over now. It's over because they've given it to me. I've won. I'm the winner. It's over. The fight is over. But actually, it's it's like this board with like you have to be X seconds better. Like here is your level now, and you have to be at this level in like a year, at this level in like 2 years, at this level at like 3 years, and you got to begin like the next day or even the same day, and you don't have any time to waste because now you've got like a target on your back, and you got all those people behind you and all those people in front of you, and you gotta like work like crazy for it. And this is, I feel, is the thing that people don't tell people, and why it's considered, and why ultimately people who get recognized and people who get those things, they end up years later being like kind of the same level or worse, kind of writing the same thing, kind of telling the same story, kind of like having the same thing all over again. You kind of read them a few years afterwards, or you read their new stuff, and you suddenly realize that they haven't actually improved. Nothing has changed. Like they still writing like the same, like they haven't gotten better. But if they haven't gotten better and they haven't like written enough, worked on themselves enough, and like invested enough time and energy, if they haven't gotten better, then I mean, yeah, then they're out of the game.